Just because I'm HVAC don't mean I gotta be dusty, do I? My YouTube subscribers, this is Southern Beauty of HVAC, and today we are going over Unit 2, Matter and Energy. So please make sure that you stay tuned. And get into some information. We're going over Unit 1 and we're talking about matter and energy. Now this is going to be a foundation that's going to build off of Unit 1, which is with heat, temperature, and pressure. And again, you can use this as a refresher course, a review for before your test, or a small little cram session. And we'll go over the layout again like we'll do with all the videos. We'll talk about the review questions, we'll talk about a summary of what the chapter is about, and then lastly we'll talk about the lab manual questions. Now this video is going to be pretty brief, so you'll be able to use it, you know, when you need it on the go. But it'll be a little different than all the other videos because we're just going over the answers. And it's not going to be too detailed about it because the information is pretty simple and I want you to make sure that you get it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start with the review questions. So question number 1, matter is a substance that occupies space and has mass. Question number 2, what are the 3 states in which matter is commonly found? As a solid, a liquid, and gas. Question number 3, blank is the term used for water when it is in the solid state. And the answer will be ice. Question number 4, in which direction does a solid exert force? Downward. Question number 5, in what direction does a liquid exert force? It will be outward and downward. Question number 6, vapor exerts pressure in what direction? Outward, upward, and downward. So that's all of the above. Number 7, let's define density. Density is the mass contained in a particular volume. It describes its mass to volume relationship. Question number 8, let's define specific gravity. Specific gravity is the density of a substance divided by the density of water. Question number 9, describe specific volume. Specific volume indicates the volume that each pound of a gas occupies. Number 10, why does an object weigh less on the moon than on Earth? Because the Earth has stronger gravitational attraction forces than the moon. Question number 11, the density of tungstens is 1,210 pounds per cubic foot. what would be its specific volume? The specific volume equals 1 divided by density. Specific volume equals 1 divided by 1,210 pounds per cubic foot. So the specific volume would equal 0.00082 feet cubic by pound. So your answer is 0.00082 foot cubic by pound. And this is the this will be the breakdown of how you would do it. So let me make it clear. Figuring out the formula is specific heat equals 1 divided by density. So if specific heat is 1 divided by density of 1,210 pounds per cubic foot, and we're going to divide it by 1, and that's how you'll get the specific volume. And that answer is 0.00082 feet cubic by pound. Per pound. Question number 12. The specific volume of red brass is 0.001865 feet cubed per pound. So what will be its density? So now that we have the formula for specific volume, let's do this problem. 536.19 pounds per cubic foot. Okay, so in this problem, we talked about specific volume. I'm going to tell you the definition of what specific gravity is in this answer. But for question number 13, let's go over it, is aluminum has a density of 171 pounds per cubic foot. What will be its specific gravity? So the definition of, or the formula I should say, of specific gravity is equal to density of sub divided by the density of water. So you'll take that formula and put it in here. So, all right, we got the density of aluminum, which is 171 pounds per cubic foot. You're going to divide that by the density of water. And that will give you the answer of 2.7 for specific gravity. Question number 14. 4 pounds of gas occupy 10 feet cubed. What will be its density and specific gravity? The density is the mass over the volume. We are to take the 4 pounds and divide them by 10 pounds per cubic foot. Specific gravity can then be obtained by dividing the density of the gas with the density of water, which is normally approximated to 62.4 pounds per cubic foot. Thus, the specific gravity of gas in this answer would be 0.0064, which of course is unitless number. Question number 15. Why is information regarding the specific volume of gases important to the designer of air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration equipment? Because gases and volume are inversely proportional with each other. Question number 16. Whose law states that the volume of a gas varies inversely with the absolute pressure as long as the temperature remains constant? And that's Boyle's law. Question number 17. At a constant pressure, how does a volume of gas vary with respect to the absolute temperature? Volume is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. So it will expand when heat causes increase of the volume, and when it's cooled, the volume will decrease. Question number 18. Let's describe Dalton's law as it relates to a confined mixture of non-reactive gases. So when nitrogen and oxygen are placed in a closed container, the pressure of the container will be the total pressure of the nitrogen, as if it were in the container by itself added to the oxygen pressure in the container by itself. So question number 19, what are the two types of energy most frequently used or considered by in this industry? That's chemical and electrical energy. Question number 20, how were fossil fuels formed? By decayed vegetables and animal matter covered by earth and rock during changes in the earth's surface. Question number 21. Blank is the time rate of doing work. Power. Question number 22. State the formula for determining the amount of work accomplished in a particular task. The definition or the formula for work equals force times distance. Question number 23. If an air conditioning compressor weighing 300 pounds had to be lifted 4 feet to be mounted on a base, how much work in foot per pound must be done? That's 1,200 foot per pound. Question number 24. Let's describe horsepower and list the 3 quantities needed to be determined by horsepower. Horsepower is an expression of power, and the 3 quantities needed are weight, distance, and time. Question number 25. How many watts of electrical energy are equal to 1 horsepower? 1 horsepower equals 746 watts. Question number 26. How many BTUs of heat can be produced by 4 kilowatts per hour of electricity? 13,652. Question number 27. How many BTUs per hour would be produced in a 12 kilowatt electric heater? That's 682.6 BTUs per hour. What unit of energy does the power company charge the consumer for? Watts. Question number 29. If 3,000 feet cubed of air is crossing an evaporator coil and is cooled from 75 degrees Fahrenheit to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, what will be the volume of air in feet to the third power exiting the evaporator coil? That'll be 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me give you a scenario for question number 30. Now the book gives us this question, but I'm going to make it simple so you can understand. All right. We got gas that's compressed inside a compressor's cylinder. The piston is at bottom dead center. The gas is 10 psig. We see the temperature is at 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 10.5 in the third power. Later, the compression in the piston changes to top dead center, and the gas now is 180 degrees Fahrenheit and occupies 1.5 inches to the third power. The question will be, what would be the new pressure of the gas in the psig? The answer is 196 psig. All right. So now we've concluded our review textbook questions, and we're now going to go into a small little summary about what Unit 2 Matter and Energy is about. Now, if you don't need this section, because I'm going to be a little wordy with some of the definitions so that you'll be able to understand for your quizzes and for just the understanding of what the chapter is about. If you don't need this section, just go ahead and move on to our lab manual questions, and then that will end the video. Matter occupies the space and has mass. Matter is made up of atoms, and atoms of different substances can combine with each other to form compounds. Matter can be found in the form of solid, liquid, and gas. These solids exert pressure downward, and a liquid exerts pressure downward and outward. Gas molecules seem to travel at random and exerts pressure in all directions. So that's downward, outward, and upward. The weight is the combined effects of gravity and mass of a substance. And the density of a substance describes its mass or weight to volume relationship. Specific gravity compares the density of various substances in respect to the density of water, which is 62.4 pounds per cubic foot. Specific volume is the amount of space that a pound of vapor or gas will occupy. So, electricity is a form of energy and is the driving force that allows pumps, compressors, fans, and other devices to operate. Heat is another type of energy because of the movements of molecules within substances. And much of the energy we use is converted to usable heat from fossil fuels. Examples of fossil fuels can be natural gas, oil, and it can also be coil. Electricity is sold by the kilowatts per hour, and natural gas is by the cubic foot, but then we have oil by the gallon and then coal by the ton. Those are just things you should remember. The term work can be explained as a force moving an object in the direction of the force. And units of work are expressed in foot per pound. The formula for work is force times distance. And you can remember this formula to answer some of those questions that they'll provide for you in the lab manual questions. And also the review questions for your test. So power is the rate of doing work, and 1 horsepower is the equivalent of about 33,000 feet per pound of work in 1 minute. The unit of measurement for electrical power is the watt, and 1 kilowatt is about 1,000 watts. Also, things that you can remember is 746 watts equal 1 horsepower. 3.413 British thermal units equal watt per hour. 1 kilowatt per hour equals 3,413 BTUs of British thermal units. And then the last thing you should remember is the behavior of gases follow a set of 3 rules or 3 laws known as the gas laws. And those 3 laws are Boyle's law, Charles' law, and Dalton's law. So those are just things that you should remember, and that's just a summary of what the chapter is about, just for a refresher. And now let's just move on to our lab manual review test questions. Number 1, matter is any substance that takes up space and has weight. Question number 2, all matter has mass. Question number 3, the density of a substance describes its mass to volume relationship. Question number 4. Specific volume is used to indicate the volume that a specific weight of gas will occupy. Question number 5. If the specific gravity of copper is 8.91, it weighs 556 pounds per cubic foot. Question number 6. How many feet per pound of work is done when a 500-pound condensing unit is lifted to the top of a 60-foot building? 3,000 feet per pound. Question. How many units of electrical power are equal to 1 horsepower? 746 watts. Question number 8. I think I mixed up the numbers. But anyway, so what is the British thermal unit per hour equivalent of 8 kilowatts of electrical power? 27,304 BTUs per hour. Question number 10. The unit of energy that is used by power a company to charge customers is kilowatts. Question number 11. Gas molecules push outward in all of the above. Like I said, all of these questions are in your book, so you can just follow along. I didn't put the multiple choice in there like I did because I wanted to make this video a little shorter. Plus, it's the very simple video once you learn the formulas and memorize the formulas. And then you'll be able to answer all of these questions very easily for your test. Question number 12. The only new energy we get is from the sun. Question number 13. Work is equal to the formula for force times distance. That equals work. Alrighty, so like I said, this is going to be a very simple video. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, leaving comments, liking and subscribing. And we're going to continue on each week with a portion of the Blue Book for heat and ventilation and air conditioning technology. Next week, we're going to be going over Unit 3, refrigeration and refrigerants, which is very helpful for all of my HVAC technicians. Again, like I said, thank you again. We also have merchandise that'll be left down in the description box, and also for our Cash App donations if you would like to donate to our page. All of that will be left in the description box. And you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys next week.